Welcome back. So we're talking about machine learning or building models from data, models that improve with data. And now I want to tell you a little bit more about some of the aspects we want these models to have. So how are we going to use these machine learning models, and what are the properties that distinguish a good model from a bad model? So I'm going to talk about what we want. And this is a pretty nuanced and subtle set of features that we want our machine learning models to have. And so I'm just going to talk you through some of these issues. I'm going to start kind of a little vague to begin with. What we really want is our models to be useful in the future, whatever that means. So we want them to be useful in the future. And there's different ways that models can be useful. It depends on what your questions are and what you're going to use them for. Oftentimes, remember, our models are built on training data. So this is data that I have right now. And what I hope is that the data I have right now is representative of what I'm going to see in the future, how I'm going to use the model in the future. I hope that there's things I can learn now that will be useful in the future. And we'll talk more about what this means in a minute. And so, for example, if I have a bunch of pictures of cats and dogs labeled cat, dog, and I learn what are the features of a cat and a dog, then in the future what I might want is to have new pictures of either cats or dogs and have this machine learning model tell me, is that a cat or a dog? And so two really important aspects of any model, really, these are two critical aspects of models, are being accurate and fast, accurate and efficient. So fast or efficient. And this is usually a balance. Usually you can get more accurate but slower models, or faster but less accurate. And that's actually one of the reasons people really like machine learning in practice, is because it looks like in a lot of applications you can get kind of fast and accurate models. And so machine learning is often used in applications where you need an answer in an automated or fast way where you can't just ship off the question to an expert human. Okay, so when Google or Facebook are trying to label images, they can't afford to send all of those images to an expert human, have them label them, and then send them back to you. This has to be an automatic process. Think about self-driving cars. If my self-driving car has something move across its field of view, it has to very rapidly decide and accurately decide, was that a human running into the field of view? Is that a child on a bike or a deer? And those are decisions that you can't wait around for, and you need accurate decisions. And you hope that you can make those decisions based on the models you've trained from your data, okay? And some models, some things you'll use machine learning for, are easier for the past data to work in the future. Okay, so that example of cats and dogs, I think, is a pretty simple example where if I have a big enough database of cats and dogs and I have them labeled, then probably I can build a useful model that will tell me in the future if an image is a cat or a dog. Now, there are some things that are much more tricky to model, to have future predictions based on present data. And those situations, the issue is called generalizability. So we want our model to generalize not just from data in the past. We want it to sometimes generalize to entirely new scenarios we might not have seen before, but that have similar rules to the data in the past. And I'll talk a little bit more about this. So we want our models to be generalizable. And I'm putting this in red, and I'm going to put a star next to it, because this is actually very important, and it's also very challenging. So this is kind of an open problem in machine learning research, is building models that are, in fact, very generalizable to new things that I haven't necessarily seen before. And I want to give a very concrete and tangible example of this. Newton's second law, F equals ma, is what I mean by a generalizable model. This is like the ultimate generalizable model. If I know F equals ma, if I study a system over here, if I study an apple falling, and I learn that F equals ma over here, I can use F equals ma pretty much on any mechanical system. Okay, so I can take what I learned from the apple falling, or what Newton learned from the apple falling, and I can use that to understand how the planets move, and I can design, space mission design, trajectories of rockets to get to the moon. So F equals ma is the kind of model that is generalizable, where we can take what we learned over here and use it for example, to land people on the moon, which is really remarkable. We're not even nearly there in machine learning, but there are big efforts underway, pushes to build machine learning models that are more generalizable than they are now. And some architectures are better at generalizing than other architectures. Another really important aspect that I want my machine learning models to be able to have is what we call interpretability. So I want to be able to interpret my model. Another way of saying this, and it's not exactly the same thing, but it's close, is explainable. I want to be able to interpret or explain what my algorithm is doing. Again, red with a star. Very important, very difficult. And so as machine learning algorithms are becoming more ubiquitous in society for speech recognition, but increasingly for things like self-driving cars and things where human lives are at stake, there's this increasing sentiment that we deserve or have a right to explainable machine learning, to be able to have an explanation for how that algorithm made that decision for better or worse. That's a huge, huge area of machine learning that, again, hundreds of people are working on making these systems more generalizable and explainable. And as we start to use machine learning more for engineering and industrial applications, things like self-driving cars, there's also this idea that I might need to certify my models. I might need to certify or guarantee that my model is going to work the way I expect it to under certain conditions. And that's something, again, you can do with physics-based models. You can kind of manage the uncertainty of what you can't model and what you can model and certify and guarantee these. And that's also something that we are very much working towards in machine learning. So we want them to be useful. Oftentimes that just means fast and accurate. If I've trained a model to tell cats and dogs apart, I want to be able to do that quickly in the future. But increasingly for these more kind of safety critical applications, we want our models to be able to generalize. We want to be able to explain what the algorithm's doing, and we want to be able to certify and guarantee that these models are in fact going to be kind of boundably or provably close to the real world in use. Okay, so this is some of the features and the texture of what we want our machine learning algorithms to do. Thank you.